live from the Quad Cities with Morgan Otier and Kyle Keel. This is Quad Cities Live.
Today on QCL, an opportunity to travel with TV6's Sharon Derek on her upcoming holiday vacations tour of Italy. We'll take a closer look at what to expect on this once-in-a-lifetime trip.
And an annual community tradition to celebrate the memories of loved ones who have passed. We'll get the details on this year's Remembrance tree lighting ceremony and the meaning behind it.
Plus, shifting our clocks by 1 hour this Sunday for daylight saving time. The abrupt time change can cause sleep disruptions. We'll get tips to combat the negative effects. It's Wednesday, October 30th, and you're watching Quad Cities Live. Thanks for joining us on this day before Halloween. I'm Morgan Otier.
I'm Kyle Keel, and Halloween does present some exciting opportunities at the Putnam Museum. And here from the Putnam to explain it all is Scott Peak. Scott, thank you so much for coming today.
Happy to be here.
You look great.
Yeah, thanks.
Well rested.
I'm always curious what you come dressed as. So,
fresh and well rested today, yeah.
Yeah, looking
Absolutely.
good.
So we're going to start with tomorrow night because you've got a classic Halloween movie showing on the giant screen.
Right. We've got The Nightmare Before Christmas. Now, it is a Halloween movie.
Yes, it is.
People get confused
Controversial.
about this, but the director came out recently and said it is 100% a Halloween
And it is
movie.
not a Christmas
Well, we have it
movie.
confirmed.
It is not.
It's,
yeah.
Okay, so The Nightmare Before Christmas on the giant screen at the Putnam. So this is at 7 o'clock tomorrow night. So honestly, this is perfect because if you're going to do a little trick-or-treating, you can still do that beforehand.
Yeah, it's part of our new open late till 8
right.
Thursdays at the Putnam. And so
Yes.
this week it's The Nightmare Before Christmas. And I should say next week is The Mummy.
Well, there you
Just
go.
a quick little plug there.
Yes. Yes. So tomorrow, if you and trick or treating, keep the costumes on because you get free popcorn if you show up in your
free small
costume.
popcorn if you come in your costume. So yeah.
Okay, cool. So the open late Thursdays. So the museum stays open till 8 p.m.
8 p.m.
on Thursdays now. But you are going to be showing movies.
Yep.
And those start typically at 7.
They start at 7. Okay. So the museum itself, like exhibits and all of that, are open until 8.
Okay.
So if you wanted to come and go to a movie, obviously the museum will be closed when you leave the movie.
Sure.
But if you want to stay until 8
awesome.
and see the exhibits, it's open up until then.
That's really great.
Yeah, it's a good opportunity for those who might not be able to come during the normal business hours here throughout the week. So Halloween's a good time to maybe invest in a little bit of a membership at the Putnam Museum because you have a Halloween special going on for 3 days only, right?
Yeah, we have a 3-day Halloween flash sale starting tomorrow.
It's the membership.
The membership sale, which is, I don't know why I'm dressed this way.
Theme. Yeah, I just don't
keeps coming up. I don't know. Yeah, 20% off all of our Putnam memberships. That doesn't include the fun bundle, but all of our Putnam memberships.
Okay, and I was online looking at that today, and you do have a variety of memberships depending on if it's going to be for the whole family, if you're just one adult who wants a membership. Like, there are some options there for people as well.
Yeah, there's a family membership, and then there's a duo membership, which is a couple, however you want to split that couple up.
Sure.
And then there's a single membership.
That's really, really great. And it's a great idea, like a gift idea. I was thinking of that for just like family members that have little kids and stuff like that, or even if they don't. I mean, it is a really cool and different, like give an experience as opposed to...
Well, and one of the things too that I wanted to bring up about the membership is the, it's called the ASTC Passport Program.
Yep.
Where you can use your Putnam membership that you buy here in the Quad Cities, and then you can use it at over 290 other locations throughout the country.
Oh, wow.
So like if you were planning a trip to Chicago, the field, or Science and Industry, or if you're going to Twin Cities, there's the Science Museum of Minnesota, even the Science Center of Iowa in Des Moines. So there's lots and lots of choices.
That's really great.
And that, relatively small investment. A family membership is $100 at the Putnam.
Yeah.
You're easily going to spend that going to one of those.
You absolutely are.
So it's a great, especially with the sale.
Yeah.
It's, we have kind of a little tagline that you just saw on the screen there.
Yeah.
Invest locally and explore nationally.
Yeah.
Spend your money here and go do all sorts of things with that.
It's an awesome opportunity.
Yeah, what a great incentive. And to go along with that, you've got some discounts coming up for an event involving the Polar Express.
Yes, so
That's
it's crazy to think that it's almost Christmas time.
It's going to come here, I mean, Halloween
I'm
hits
talking
and it's
Christmas
like
gifts
season.
already.
Yeah, no, exactly. So the Putnam is a great Christmas gift, but the reason that we have this flash sale here is because Putnam members get first dibs at tickets for the Polar PJ parties.
This
Okay.
is so much fun because we have the Putnam on every single year to preview the Polar Express pajama party. My
Say that, yeah.
Say
Easy
that
to
3
say,
times
yeah.
fast. I
Yeah.
thought. But one thing that we always talk about is that it sells out really fast.
Yeah.
Like all the spots sell out super fast.
Yeah.
So if it's important to you to get the kiddos to this year, this would be a really great option.
Right. Right, and that's why we have this sale here, actually. That's why we put it here, to kind of encourage that, because the tickets go on sale for members November 8th.
Okay.
And then the following week, they go on sale for the general public.
November 15th.
Yeah, and we've got some new things this year at the Polar PJ. We've got a new character who's joining the Putnam family in a couple of weeks. His
Oh.
name is JP.
JP the Polar Bear,
JP
yeah.
Polar Bear.
Okay.
So he'll be debuting at the Festival of Trees Parade.
Be on the lookout.
But then
There you
he'll
go.
be obviously at the parties as well.
No, that's really great. JP the Polar Bear. So there's going to be story times
Yeah.
with JP, meet and greets,
Yeah.
things like that. So
Yeah.
that's extra fun. And before we let you go, I do want to go back to the membership and
Yeah.
beyond the benefit of this Polar Express pajama party. There are, thank you so much, there are some other really cool benefits as well to having a
Oh,
membership.
absolutely.
Okay, so of course, you get in for free,
Yeah.
correct? It's not even
yeah.
just like a discount. Like
No,
you have the membership.
For the year that you have it, you get in. You could go every single day if you wanted to.
Wow. Okay. And you also get some discounts on different things within the museum.
So you get 10% off at the concession stand. So when you go see Nightmare Before Christmas,
Right.
you can come in costume, get a free popcorn, and then you could get 10% off
Your drinks.
everything else.
Yeah.
Candy as well. And then you also get a discount in our store.
Oh, nice.
So
That in itself is worth it, because if you go in the store, you can almost get overwhelmed by everything that's in there. So
Yeah.
it's, maybe get some items that you've had your eye on for a while. That,
well, and I'm modeling a preview of an item
Yeah.
that's going to be in our store. Our Support Your Mummy
Tea.
yeah.
tea.
I love it.
Coming up in the middle of the month, we're going to have those available as
New
well.
Putnam merch.
Yeah.
Very, very
Got the
cool.
little pins on as well. So
Yeah, no, I
support
got
your
you. I
mom.
got you some
yeah.
Support
Yeah.
Your Mummy pins
Yeah.
there,
Thank you.
just so you can show your mummy pride around town.
I love it. Well, thank you so much. You look great,
Well, thank you.
by the way.
As
So
always.
if you guys are headed out tomorrow night, maybe you'll see Scott dressed like this.
Tomorrow night I'll be Gru. So you know,
Naturally.
obviously today it's all
It varies
about
day to day, right?
today it's all about the mummies. Tomorrow it's Gru.
Okay, perfect.
Well, if you want to get tickets to the movie on the giant screen tomorrow, or if you want to learn more about all the different memberships available, be sure to visit the website on your screen. That's putnam.org. Scott, as always, thanks for coming on and telling us all the great things going on at Putnam.
Yes,
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Today, we are learning more about an incredible 9-day trip overseas to Italy, and you're invited. Holiday Vacations is taking a lucky group of travelers to Venice, Florence, and Rome. And joining that group is TV6's Sharon DeReek, who is joining us right now. Sharon, welcome to the show.
Thanks. It's the first time I've been on the show with you.
I know it. It's fun to have you guys on. We had Teresa on not too long ago to talk about her holiday vacations trip. So Italy.
Super excited.
Yeah.
Always wanted to go. Never been to Europe at all.
Me either, yeah.
So first time going to Europe, and I've always wanted to go to Italy because the architecture looks so beautiful, the history, the food.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm very excited.
What a dream. So it's happening in June of 2025, so we got some time, but I would imagine, I mean, we were just talking about this, you've already heard people saying that they are wanting to sign up or have already signed up.
Yeah, I had a couple of people on our trip to Hawaii, which we just did in March of this year. Ask on that trip, like, oh, where are you going next? And I said, you know, I don't know. Like, wherever they tell me, I said, but I would really love to go to Italy. And they said, well, if you go to Italy, we'd go with you. And so I kind of asked Holiday, and I said, hey, what about Italy? And they said, well, okay.
Well, yeah, and it's really cool too because, and I know Eric has said this before, and Teresa has said this before, and Marcia. I mean, you make such great lifelong friends.
You really do. Like, everybody is always so nice.
Yeah.
And the guides are, like, great. And I mean, the whole trip is so perfectly set up. You don't have to do anything. Like, you literally show up.
Yep.
And they tell you, like, what time to put your bags out in the morning. And they tell you, today we're going to go do this, that, and the other thing.
Right.
And it's just, it's really a perfect way to see something, and like attractions that you would never think to do yourself.
Right.
It's all included for you.
It would be tough to plan to do anything like this yourself. So we want to bring in a Holiday Vacations Destination Manager, Kristen Wells. Kristen, thank you so much for joining the show today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here.
Absolutely. Well, first, tell us a little bit more about holiday vacations for folks that have never traveled with you before. TV6 has been partnering with Holiday Vacations for almost 17 years at this point, so a very long time. But Kristen, the company itself has been around even longer than that.
We have been in business since 1973, and we've been taking people to over 65. I think we're up to 75 destinations worldwide now. So wow. It's just been a fantastic experience, as you mentioned, bringing people with us all over the world.
Yeah, it's really exciting, and we kind of, Sharon and I were just talking about it before we welcomed you on the segment, but tell us a little bit more about what makes Holiday Vacations tours so unique.
I think the fact, well, for one, having this fantastic relationship with KWQC is just so important to us, but it's so easy for your guests because our tour director actually starts with all of your travelers. We have 3 easy pickups right in your area. Yep. Our tour director arrives the day before, and we take everybody right to Chicago Airport, and we fly together. And that really instantly eases a lot of maybe travel fears for a lot of people. But the other thing is the airfare is all included. All that transportation is all included in the price of the tour. And then several meals. Once we arrive in Italy, we have a fantastic guide we've worked with for years and years who actually, I mean, let's face it, nobody knows their country more than somebody that lives there. Right. So people are very well taken care of right from the start.
Yeah, they are. And that is so funny that you mentioned that. I'm sure, Sharon, it's something that you've experienced as well. When you get on that tour bus, there are so many like new faces and people that you've never met before. But that in itself is kind of a cool bonding moment. And you meet a lot of people just on the drive from the Quad Cities to Chicago.
Oh, for sure. And you meet people from all ranges of our viewing area.
Yes.
Like we've had people from Savannah all the way down to like Fort Madison and east to Princeton and west. I mean, so really people from all over the area love to go. And it is really fun to get to know all these folks. And like we've had with our Hawaii trip, which we really bonded well. I mean, we've bonded well with every group that we've gone with, but the Hawaii trip that we did, really, people just really hit it off. Yeah. And we have had like several reunions where we've gotten together with folks. So it is really like a family, and we always called it, like we'd always say, good morning travel family, because you do become a family in those, you know, 9, 10, 8 days, however long your trip is, and you get to know these folks, and it is so fun.
It really is. You spend a lot of magical moments together, seeing a lot of cool stuff. So speaking of cool stuff, Kristen, what are some, I guess, special highlights of this tour? Of course, we can't go over all of them because the list is incredibly long, but as far as you're concerned, what are some, you know, can't miss opportunities?
I think the fact that in the course of the 9-day trip, obviously you have to count in the flights, but, you know, in a relatively short amount of time, you're seeing the iconic areas, the classic towns of Italy, like Florence, obviously. Florence is so incredibly beautiful for people. They're always amazed at seeing something like the statue of Michelangelo's David. You know, it's 17 feet high. It's all made from a single piece of granite. It's the same granite that the Colosseum is made of, and people are just mesmerized by the detail in that unbelievable statue that he created when he was only 26 years old. You know, places like Venice, where the entire community is built on a lagoon, and you think, well, how did they do that? And it's built on wooden structures that actually are sunken down into the water, and you wonder, well, why do they not rot? And, you know, you learn all about that as you're on a gondola ride with a gondolier that actually doesn't have two oars but one, and so just watching him navigate those canals is really special. And I think for most people, when you get to the Colosseum, you know, again, that is sort of the granddaddy of it all, and you can see where the animals actually were kept underneath. There is like a cutaway of the stage, and you can actually still see that. But the tour, besides that, it includes Tuscany, and people always want to know more about Tuscany. So you'll visit a hilltop village, which is a favorite among many, San Gimignano. It is a hilltop town. It's small. It's easy to get around. So it just covers a lot of things all in the course of 9 days.
Yeah, and right now, as you're speaking, we're taking a look at that 9-day itinerary, and you cover so much ground. Really, really beautiful. And there's a map of everywhere that the group gets to go. That's on the screen right now. And, you know, Kristen just talked about some really cool stuff, Sharon, but is there something or a place specifically that you've been looking at and like you're really excited about?
Well, I mean, just looking at the pictures that we were just showing, I mean, obviously the Coliseum would be really cool, but like everything, just all the history over there is just something that I just can't wait to experience, because, you know, in the U.S., we don't have anything
that goes back that far.
Yeah, I mean, not even close.
I know.
So, I mean, you're just going to be, and I've always been fascinated by history, so I just feel like I'll be like a sponge the whole time that we're there, and I can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing. Well, Kristen, for anybody who has been watching this segment and is like, I need to sign up immediately, or I need more information, how can they learn more?
They can call us. That's probably the easiest way. They could just call us at, it's probably on your screen, 888 I don't stop always, 888-557-1020. It's not always an easy number for me to remember. 888-557-1020. Or they can simply go online, holidayvacations.com, and they can find us through our website. And then one of our agents will give them a call back and get all their details.
Absolutely. There's also, if you head online, there's a free online travel show that people can watch as well. The whole brochure, you can really like do a deep dive on what happens every single day that you are on this trip, if that's something that you're, you know, interested in. So again, that website is holidayvacations.com, and the keyword to travel with Sharon and the group from the QCA is quad. Kristen, thank you so much for joining us on the show today. We really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you so much.
Yes, absolutely. And Sharon, we've got a few months left, but it's something to look forward to.
Absolutely. That'll get me through the winter.
It'll get you through the winter, and it does fill up fast. I will say, we've had like people on the show before, like Eric, where the day that we interviewed him on the show, his tour was full.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So it happens very quickly. So if it's, you know, something that you've been wanting to do and you're interested in, I would get on there.
It's definitely a bucket list thing for me.
It is a bucket list.
I'd love to travel with folks. I mean, we've always had a blast with all of our groups, and I'd love to get to know some more people. So.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Well, thanks for having me.
Of course. The Mercy One Genesis Remembrance Tree Ceremony is an annual event that provides us with an opportunity to honor loved ones we have lost. Joining us with details on this year's service is grief counselor Lisa Levy. Lisa, thank you for being back with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. It's such an important event to so many people across the QCA, so it's good to take some time to talk about it. First, though, let's start with hospice care and really what the mission of hospice is.
Yes. Hospice is a wonderful support system for families and loved ones who are facing the end of life. To become a patient in the hospice program, you have to have a best assessment of 6 months or less to live. Okay. And then we admit you to our hospice team, and we have a team of doctors, the patient's doctor. They have a nurse case manager, a chaplain, medical social worker, and a nurse case manager.
A real team.
A real team to care for them in every setting, you know, whether it might be at home or in facilities, and any diagnosis that brings you to end of life is generally eligible. Yes.
Okay. All right. So the annual Remembrance tree lighting ceremony, it is coming up. It's on Monday, this coming Monday, correct? November 4th at 6 p.m. So for anybody who's never participated, talk a little bit about what happens at one of these ceremonies, these services.
Sure. This year's ceremony will be at the Clarissa Cook Hospice House in Bettendorf from 6 to 6:30 p.m. It is an outdoor event. We'll have music, we'll have some poetry, prayer, and a We Honor Veterans segment for our veterans. We light the tree that is on the one end of the hospice house. Folks can purchase a light in honor of their loved one and an ornament that we designed with Isabel Bloom.
Yes, it's beautiful. These are special edition ornaments
I'll
as
hold
well.
that up.
Yes, please do.
This year's ornament is a butterfly.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
And everyone receives a card, and on it says, "The wings of your love carry me."
What a special thing to have as well, you know, or to purchase for somebody in your life that is potentially going through a loss or dealing with grief. It is, you know, and because it's timely. I mean, this is new every single year. I mean, it really does mark a certain moment in someone's life. So
that's right.
Yeah.
And part of our healing is remembering our loved one and their legacy.
Yeah.
We've been doing this for about 20 years. We have remembered over 7,000 people.
Amazing.
And raised over $100,000 for Genesis Hospice through our foundation.
That's amazing. I was reading about that, a milestone year for this tree lighting ceremony 20 years later, and being able to help just thousands and thousands of people, or I should say remember thousands and thousands of people, and reaching and helping so many more with closure. So the actual tree lighting ceremony, you spoke about, you can purchase a light. So you can essentially, this is something to do ahead of time. People will go online or make a phone call, and they can sponsor a light that lights up the tree?
Correct.
Okay.
The lights are $10 each.
Okay.
And the ornament is $20. Many have been pre-ordered.
Okay.
But we have many in stock.
Okay.
They can be purchased that evening or after the event.
Okay.
Also.
Okay, good to know. I have a feeling a lot of people will want to do that.
Yes.
And this has become tradition. I mean, like you said, 20 years later, this has become tradition for a lot of people in the area. If they lost a loved one even 15 years ago, it's something that they keep coming back to. And I would imagine it's tradition for staff as well.
Absolutely. In fact, it is staff that are in the program.
Right.
We will have the Quad City Singers with us, but our medical director, Dr. Steve Sorensen, will be the MC. Wow. And in fact, many families come hoping to see members of their care team, you know, and to reconnect with them.
I would imagine that's really special.
It is. It's hospice work is very special. It is an absolute privilege to be with families as they care for their loved one, and we feel very honored to be a part of it.
End of life is a part of everyone's life, and I think that, I mean, it takes a really special person to be there with families and with that person as they go through that, you know? So, yeah, what a great thing. So this is happening. The tree lighting is set for Monday, November 4th, so it's coming up in just a few days. It begins at 6 p.m. outside the Clarissa Cook Hospice House. It is located on Tech Drive in Bettendorf. Now, if you want to purchase that ornament or sponsor a light, just visit the website on your screen, genesishealth.com/tree. You can also text R-TREE to 41444. Lisa, thank you so much for all you do, and thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you so much for having us.
We really appreciate it. The Department of Defense SkillBridge program helps veterans leaving their service re-enter the working world through paid internships. And during those internships, military members work and learn alongside civilian industry partners like John Deere. Take a look.
I'm a hull maintenance technician, so I'm a welder by trade. I went to boot camp in 2004, had an opportunity to go to the Navy's Advanced Weld School, got certified as a shipboard non-nuclear welder, and did that for a long time until I moved into more of the maintenance and material management realm. And for the last couple years, I've been up at Navy Boot Camp in Great Lakes, Illinois as an instructor.
Over 200,000 service members exit the military every single year, so that is a large pool of very skilled and dedicated workers.
For me, there was a lot of nervousness about the unknown. You know, being in the Navy for 20 years, how do you go from one to the other?
So the DoD Skill Bridge program is a program that the Department of Defense created about 13 years ago to ease the transition of our military service members.
Skill Bridge program helps connect veterans and those finishing their service time in the military with local employers like John Deere in an internship within the factory to help connect their skills with potential opportunities as they begin their transition.
So it's a really great way to get into the fields you want to be in when you're out, get into the area where you're going to be living, and kind of get a jump start on that separation transition when it does come. And when I learned that Deere was a partner, that's when I kind of started making the plans of, hey, this is probably what I want to do, go back to the Quad Cities, be close to home, and have an opportunity to be with someone like John Deere.
It really helps our service members to transition seamlessly from the military to the civilian sector. So while they're in the military, they may be working in HVAC or in military personnel, which is what I did, which is equivalent to HR. However, they do not always transfer. The skills do not always transfer. So having the skill bridge and the internship really kind of helps to expose that service member to the civilian sector and what it's like to work in that civilian company.
We've had skill bridge interns in supply management, we've had interns in maintenance, and we've had a number of them in operations helping to support the daily factory production here at Seating.
They helped me be able to translate what I learned in the service as far as leadership and work ethic and all that kind of stuff into the civilian sector. Because I've been doing things a certain way, not necessarily the same way that they do them here. And it was, hey, you've learned all these things. This is how we're going to apply them to your job here. And this is how we're going to make you successful.
All of our interns have a manager and a network that they connect with here within the factory to help support them during their internship. And so all of our interns have regular one-on-ones and regular cadence of kind of meetings with members of the factory to kind of help establish and build those relationships to ensure kind of success in their role.
Yeah, it was a daily thing. Asking how I'm doing, not just with the work here that I was doing for Deere, but also some of the other veterans would ask how I was doing with my transition, how the VA appointments were going, how a lot of those boxes that have to get checked when you're transitioning, making sure that I was taking care of that side of things too, and that I had time to do it. So it was a daily thing where people were talking and asking if I was making sure I was getting taken care of.
Internal to John Deere, we have a very vibrant community of veterans, and I view this program as another way to extend our outreach beyond the walls of John Deere to help connect and really support the transition of veterans and military servicemen and women as they progress beyond their time in service.
John Deere's been a tremendous support to the Iowa workforce development with SkillBridge. They've been doing it for a number of years and have been very successful in bringing in service members under the SkillBridge program and then offering them employment. They assisted us through IWD in the process so we could become a third-party approver as well. So we 100% support this and think it's a great program because we are taking care of our service members and ensuring that they're going to find gainful employment after their service time.
I'm very proudly a second-generation John Deere employee. I was born and raised here in the Quad Cities. My dad retired with 35 years from John Deere, so this is my home. It's the place where my family, my wife and I and our 4 kids have established roots. And it's just an exciting place to connect, have that kind of small Midwest vibe, but at the same time, a very growing community as well. Getting the opportunity to connect with people from varieties of background, different ways of life, is really what brings me a lot of happiness in my role. And thinking very specifically to the impact of this program, right? Here's just another lane, another pipeline of talent that John Deere can connect with to really help make sure that we've got the best talent to help build the greatest products for our customers.
Being from Moline, I've been wearing John Deere sweatshirts and ball caps everywhere I've been that the Navy's taken me. So, and I always talk about, Moline, Illinois. That's where John Deere's from, and you know, I'd brag about it a lot when I was out doing whatever I was doing. So being able to come back here and be a part of this was a goal, and I'm glad I had the opportunity.
Coming up, how to prepare your body for the time change as we set our clocks back 1 hour this weekend. We'll get some advice to avoid any negative impacts next.
Enjoy autumn with Hello Autumn. Each week right here on TV6.
Well, prepare for an earlier sunrise and a very early sunset. That's right, daylight saving time ends this Sunday.
Yeah, it's only an hour of time, but that change can really wreak havoc on our minds and our bodies. So we are getting some helpful advice today from Dr. Tracy Nelson of Nelson Chiropractic. Tracy, welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
Yes, good to have you. So obviously, you know, when daylight saving time rolls around, whether it's in the fall or in the spring, you hear the groan. You know, people know that their sleep schedule is going to get messed up. And we know that sleep, getting enough of it, is very, very important to our overall health.
Yes, it helps with our healing. It helps our mood.
Yeah.
It helps our ability to
I feel like she looked at me when she said that.
I did. It makes us murdery when we're tired. But it really does affect our longevity. People who work swing shift and are chronically, you know, lacking sleep, live
both have
10
experience
years
with that.
left. 10 years, takes off their life.
Well,
yes.
Great.
Yeah.
Did the morning show for 8, so.
I only did 2.5, so I think I'm turning out a little better, maybe.
But daylight savings time, the week after that, the rate of accidents and things like that, like you're more likely to get in an accident next week.
That. Yeah, I have heard that before. Like you can get like a sick or like some very serious things have happened to people around this time. Now, I did have to ask several people today, do we get more sleep or do we get less sleep? So this one, we technically get another hour.
Yes.
But it like
falling back.
You're falling back, but it really it messes with everything. Like your
so we have to
rhythm.
We have to start now to know we're rested by the time like Sunday and Monday come around when we're like, I'm not actually tired yet.
Yeah.
So we have to plan ahead to be rested going into it because animals and kids they don't play by this whole daylight savings time thing.
Great.
So that is what messes us up, right? It messes us up with our ability to stay asleep and get good quality sleep.
So some of the tips that you're offering, you know, we need to eat well, which easier said than done, and also nap.
Napping is good. So next week when we're extra tired, she's like, when we're extra tired, we have to take naps, but you can't nap too long. You shouldn't nap more than 20 minutes. Just literally power naps and not in bed. Like just try to like close your eyes somewhere else because when you go to bed, like that is where you're supposed to be asleep. So it's just
the 8 hours.
Yeah, it's like I'm gonna take a little power nap and then get up and get active again.
Wow, okay, that is super interesting. So next week when you see me in this studio with my eyes closed on the little couch, just, you know what, mind your business. You know, I'm taking my little cat nap. So that is all interesting. Napping is good for that. In general, beyond this weekend even, you also have some tips on how to sleep better. Lots of us struggle with getting good sleep, but there are some things we can do.
Yes, so we have a graphic, I think, of it, but sleeping better is obviously avoiding the things we know. Caffeine, yes, affects people. And it affects us, some people longer, some people like digest it in their brain longer, but also alcohol affects our sleep.
Yes, I have heard that, like drinking glasses of wine or whatever before you go to sleep, like you may not even know you're tossing and turning.
It decreases the quality of your sleep, which makes us tired. So, but also like being outside and being active, physically active, really, really helps the quality of our sleep. And it reduces our stress levels, which helps us sleep and things like that. But getting adjusted, I mean, my patients, that's probably the #1 benefit that they say is I slept so much better last night.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we, you know, on the note of being active and being outside, you don't want to do it too late though, right?
Yeah, if you're exercising in the evening, for some people, it does disrupt their sleep cycle.
And technology, like the scrolling, and that has been like one thing for me that I really have to like be careful of is just getting off the phone. And that blue light.
It's the energy of it. It's the way it kind of wakes you up, but also like the blue light that comes from technology does affect our ability to relax our brain. But it makes you have weird dreams, right? When you see all these different people on Facebook and then you put them together.
They're all in your dreams.
And it's so easy. You can be just like, oh, I'm just going to go check something real quick. And then you just get down a rabbit hole. And then before you know it, it's midnight. And you're like, I should be in bed right now.
Yeah, you have to wind down. And that's why we want to talk about it today, is so we can start winding things down earlier in the day to get good quality sleep for the next few days.
So sleep posture and mattresses. So how we're sleeping matters. I am a stomach and a side sleeper, and I read this information, and it's no, do not sleep on your stomach.
No.
Sleep on your back.
If you were in a classroom and you were sitting clear in the edge with your head turned like this for 6 hours, you would know that's bad for your neck. But you sleep
when you
like
put it
that.
like that, it makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, people sleep like that, and often I tell them, try to lay with your head the other way, and you'll know how stretched out the ligaments have gotten that way. Like, there's
It's
a way.
impossible.
Yeah, so it's not good for you.
Okay.
It really strains your neck.
Okay, and going back to the whole rest thing, rest is important. We shouldn't feel guilty about resting because for me, sometimes when I'm like with my kids, especially, I'm like, oh, I gotta rest, but I can't.
Yes, it's prioritizing your health to make you be a better human, nicer, kinder, your brain works better, you're more efficient. And sometimes there's certain seasons when we're either fighting something or we've had a sick child and we haven't slept. We have to just really say, like, I am prioritizing, put it there. I am prioritizing rest right now. So you're not being lazy.
All right,
prioritizing.
well, Nelson Chiropractic is located in the Cumberland Square Shopping Center in Bettendorf. Contact information is on your screen, and you can learn more about what they do on their website.
Yeah.
Thanks so
my
much.
gosh. Tracy, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We really appreciate it. And thank you for watching. Coming up tomorrow, happy Halloween from Quad Cities Live. We are dressing up in costume and inviting our TV6 families to join us on air and show them off.
Yeah, it should be fun. And from potting to planting, did you know there's still a lot you could be doing in your garden right now? Wallace's will join us with some fall tips and last-minute chores. That and more tomorrow on a Halloween edition of Quad Cities Live.
Ooh, exciting.
Yes.
Well,